20 years. That's how long it took to make the iconic Spider-Man suit we've got today. The big question is, why did it take that long? And most importantly, was it worth it? Let's swing back in time together and figure out how Spidey's suit leveled up year after year until it became the ultimate masterpiece. First, let's rewind all the way to 2002, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Do you remember seeing that suit for the first time? Red and blue blazing, the bold black webbing raised on the fabric like it was carved into stone, and that giant spider emblem screaming, "Don't mess with me." Honestly, it was the first time any of us saw Spider-Man come alive in a way that didn't feel corny. And tell me that glossy finish under New York lights didn't look epic. That suit was everything back then. And you knew there was a but, it had its issues. The fabric was thick and heavy, which made Tobey move like he was fighting in winter boots. And those silver eyes were legendary for the time. Sure, but they were just so frozen in place. No expression, no widening, no narrowing, just two metallic ovals staring into your soul. Geez, still, you can't deny it. Tobey's suit set the stage. It became iconic because it gave us our first real Spider-Man. Now let's jump forward a decade to 2012, and here comes Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man. His suit had a totally different vibe, darker shades of red and blue, slicker texture, and an athletic silhouette that made him look like a runner ready to sprint across rooftops. And then boom, those oversized white eyes. What did you think when you saw those? Some fans loved them because finally, Spidey's mask had more life. Others thought they looked a little too bug-like, almost alien, but you've got to admit, it made the suit stand out. Plus, it looked like he could actually move. I mean, Garfield flipped, twisted, and swung in ways that looked effortless compared to Tobey's stiffer style. But here's where people got divided. That suit sometimes looked shiny, almost like cosplay, and it dropped the bold raised webbing we'd gotten used to. Or do you think that was a mistake? Garfield's suit was stylish, no doubt, but it felt like it was caught between two worlds, comic accurate on one side, gritty realistic on the other. Then came 2016. Marvel finally brought Spidey into the MCU, and suddenly the game changed forever. Tom Holland's first look came in the homemade suit in Captain America: Civil War, and honestly, it was perfect. Hoodies, goggles, straps, everything looked like something an actual teenager from Queens would put together if he suddenly had spider powers. And that's why we all loved it. It reminded us Spidey wasn't some billionaire or genius inventor. He was just a kid trying to do good with what he had. The mask had those round, moving eyes that gave him some expression, which was already a huge step forward. But as we all know, that was only the warm-up. Before long, Spider-Man: Homecoming dropped the Stark suit. And my friends, this was it. Tony Stark's touch turned the costume into something we'd never seen before. Bright, bold red and blue with sleek black lines that made it look futuristic, almost like a sports car version of Spidey. But again, the real treat was in the eyes, man. Those eyes. They didn't just look cool, they moved. Narrow when he was suspicious, wide when he was surprised. It gave Spider-Man a face even under the mask. You tell me, didn't that instantly make him feel more alive than ever before? And don't even get me started on the tech. Web shooters with different modes, combat upgrades, drones, instant kill, still funny, enhanced optics. It was basically a Swiss Army knife Spidey edition. For the first time, it felt like Spider-Man wasn't just a street hero. He was ready to hang with the Avengers. So why did it take so long to get to this level? Easy, because every earlier suit had to happen first. Tobey's taught us how to make Spidey iconic and bold. Garfield's pushed the boundaries of movement and style. Holland's homemade suit reminded us who Peter Parker really is. And then the Stark suit took all those lessons and blasted them into the future. Without those earlier attempts, the Stark suit wouldn't have been the masterpiece it became. But it didn't even stop there. By the time Far From Home and No Way Home came around, we had the upgraded suit and the integrated suit. You remember those, right? The sleek designs, black spider emblems stretching across the chest, and panels that made the suits look futuristic but still flexible. These felt like a second skin, blending comic accuracy with pure functionality. And with every upgrade, the eyes got more and more expressive. Watching Holland swing through New York in these suits, it didn't just feel like an actor in a costume anymore. It felt like Spider-Man himself had walked out of the comics and into our world. Now here is something we often overlook when we talk about Spider-Man suits. It is not just about cool designs or style choices. The real secret is that technology in filmmaking had to evolve first. Back in 2002, there was simply no way to make mask eyes blink or animate fabric that flexed and stretched with CGI without it looking weird and obviously fake. The tech just wasn't there yet. But fast forward to today, the technology is absolutely insane. Costume designers and VFX teams now work side by side to make sure the suit looks perfect. That balance between looking epic for the audience and still being practical enough for stunts took years of trial and error to finally get right, but now it feels seamless. And think about the insane pressure the designers were under while making these suits. Every single tiny detail gets analyzed under a microscope by you guys, the fans. If the design swings too far in one direction and feels too different, people flip out and hate it. But if it sticks too close to what we already know, then everyone starts calling it lazy or uninspired. Imagine being the person stuck in that situation, trying to walk that tightrope and keep millions of fans happy every single time a new actor puts on the mask. That is no easy job. But here's the thing that makes me love these suits even more. They are not just costumes. Each version of the Spider-Man suit tells us something about Peter Parker himself and where he is in life at that moment. Tobey Maguire's stiff and glossy suit looks serious, heavy, and dramatic, which was perfect for a Peter who carried responsibility like a burden and felt the weight of being a hero in every choice he made. Andrew Garfield's rebellious and sharper-looking suit gave off energy and attitude, fitting perfectly with a younger Spidey who was still figuring himself out and had a bit of an edge. Then you get Tom Holland's tech-packed suits, expressive and full of moving parts, which fit a teenage Peter who is growing up fast, learning, and slowly stepping into something much bigger than himself. The suits are not just outfits, they are storytelling tools. And you know what else shifted over time? The culture around superhero movies has completely changed. Back in 2002, films like Spider-Man were trying so hard just to prove they could be taken seriously and not dismissed as goofy or childish. That was the vibe of Tobey's suit in films, and it worked because people were finally seeing Spidey as more than just a cartoon character. Then you move to 2012, and the whole mood of superhero movies had shifted again. This was the era when everything needed to feel gritty, dark, and realistic, thanks to the influence of movies like The Dark Knight. Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man reflected that trend, with a design that leaned more into sharp edges, deeper colors, and a suit that looked like it was put together by a rebellious young hero. By the time 2016 rolled around, everything had flipped again. The MCU had exploded into mainstream culture, and suddenly superheroes were not niche anymore. They were the biggest thing in the world. So when Tom Holland stepped into the role, the pressure was huge. His suit had to strike this impossible balance of feeling nostalgic enough to remind people of the Spider-Man they grew up with, while also looking fresh and new enough to stand out in a universe already filled with gods, soldiers, and billionaires in armor. It had to connect with both older fans and a new generation at the same time. That is why when you look at Holland's ultimate suit today, it feels like the perfect combination of everything fans have been waiting for across 2 decades. It took 20 years of trial and error, of experimenting with every stitch, upgrade, and tweak of the eyes to get here, and that is exactly what makes it so special. The suit is not just red and blue fabric, it is a living timeline of Spider-Man's journey on screen, woven together with our own journey as fans who grew up watching him evolve. And believe me, this isn't even the end. Marvel's already hinting at more upgrades, crazier tech, maybe even new materials that move like actual spider silk. Imagine how expressive those eyes could get next time. The so-called perfect suit we have right now, it might just be the warm-up for the next big leap. So next time you see Holland swinging across New York, don't just see the fabric, see history, see the journey that took 20 years to make Spider-Man look and feel exactly how we always dreamed. That's not just a costume, it's a legend woven into spandex. And if you ask me, that's the most heroic thing of all. But now I've got to ask you, out of Tobey, Garfield, and Holland, whose suit was your favorite before we got the ultimate one? And if you could design the next Spider-Man suit, what would you add? Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting videos like this one. Till our next episode, bye for now.